Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. About 9 topics, I would say, for this video. Why am I not certain? Is because, from 8, it could turn into 9, it could turn into 10. Because sometimes, you jump from one to something that, oh, I remember that one. Oh, that will get me to that one. And then I discuss a new topic. So, the first topic. Russian forces liberate another place, another time, in Zaporozhye region. Then we find out that the Russians again attacked the port of Odessa. I think this would make it the 5th time in about a week or so. And we find out that, next topic, Iran will not respond to limited Israeli attack on certain targets. We're going to discuss what the fuck that is. That is, Iran says, well, now it's your turn, hit me back, just mildly, just a leak of my balls a little bit, and then I'm not going to do anything. But if you try to get my cock, I'm going to react, right? What is this? What is this? Is this a controlled war like the Ukraine war? For some to make some money and some people to keep their power? We're going to discuss this garbage, man. Now, Russia won. In what way? Remember when Russia said, if you, NATO, mighty NATO, will allow, click, the Ukrainians to use your weapons to strike targets deep inside Russia, we might use nuclear weapons. We change our doctrine, therefore we're going to get you as being directly involved and responsible. That means we can fight one another. And what did the Americans say? And the Brits, we're going to do it, man. And they said, we're going to decide this. Starmer went to and met Biden at the White House, wasn't he? And they said, well, we'll do it. We don't know what decision, blah, blah, blah. And they said, wait, no. Wait. Ramstein meeting. That's what we're going to do in Germany. Well, Ramstein was cancelled. Why? Because I think they are chicken out. They are not going to say, yes, we're going to make a decision. As I said it many times before, since this garbage came up with, oh, we're going to allow them. And the Russian says, yeah, bring it on. Wait. Maybe this is serious. And I hope they got the message. They sobered out. Now they canceled the Ramstein. They said they postponed it. I said they canceled it. Why? Because they want to save face. That's what they want to do. Biden will show up in Germany for a medal over there. Grand Cross of, baboon Biden. But nevertheless, he's not going to have the Ramstein. Why? You're going to forget about the decision. The media will just keep quiet about the decision to strike deep inside Russia. We're going to discuss that topic as well. BBC, losing propaganda battle to Russia today. Why? Supposedly BBC doesn't have money. I don't think so. I think people are not sometimes as baboon as I think they are. No, they are. It's just that the other guys are. It's too obvious. Even for the baboons, it's too obvious. So Netanyahu is doing something I said he will do, and not only I said that. Is going to make sure that there will be no Palestinians in northern Gaza. How? He's going to protect them by okay, that's the first one. And the other one, Israel reinforces ban on United Nations Secretary General. So if you remember, they said Mr. Guterres, the Secretary of United Nations Secretary General, is persona non grata, cannot enter here. Like, who the fuck wants to go over there and that? Anyway, so now they said, well, Guterres said, well, we condemn the Iranian attack. Okay, now you're allowed because you did what we wanted you to do. And now Guterres said something else. Therefore, these guys again reinforce ban. So he did something that this guy didn't like. So they have the right to say, well, you don't come in our house. All right, that's good. But imagine if there would be another country doing the same thing. We're going to discuss that one. Well. That gets me to a beautiful article that I've been waiting for. And I talked about this many times. Unknown drone fleet, that means many, breached U.S. military base airspace in Virginia, that's in the United States of America, for 17 straight days. What if those drones had one little ball, not two, one, which is a little bomb. I said this will happen, but I said it's going to happen in Europe first. What will happen next? There will be drones here in America with hanging something that will be dropped on whatever they want. Let's say they go to the White House. Do you think they're going to be able to, if they send 50 drones like that? And they're cheap. And the Ukrainians have thousands, hundreds of thousands of drones provided by the same guys. That's the danger, as I said, of these criminals, whomever they are, and there are many of them, and, settling scores or changing or creating panic. What if the Taliban does that? Oh, they don't. What if ISIS does that? What if, some other actors? You can control that. How are you going to control a drone flying, taking off from somewhere, flying, a few tens of miles and going over Washington, D.C., whatever, or wherever they want. You're going to have air defense systems. They will hit a drone. These guys in Ukraine could not figure out how they could defend the Abrams tanks against the big drones, not the small drones like this with the ball. Right? That's how much a drone is. You see this? It's 1 foot that carries one bomb. There's other footage on X and other places where you can see these kind of things. God, imagine that's a president talking against that little glass, bulletproof, and the drones come over. What do you think this guy's going to do? A pew, 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 a pew, pew, pew. Dangerous. Who started this? Putin. We're going to discuss this dangerous situation. Now, German intelligence chief warns that Russia may attack NATO by 2030. But we also, in the same breath, we're told that Russia is losing in Ukraine. So if Russia is incapable of fighting just Ukraine, right? So 140 million people against used to be 42 million people, and they're losing, then how could the Russians possibly attack NATO in 2030? Unless they want to commit suicide. And I don't think they're so dumb. After all, they're Europeans. And we find out, according to the Ukrainians, that actually the Russian Navy in the Black Sea is dead. It's dead. But hey, the Russians will attack NATO by 2030. You gotta be consistent. Well, we find out that the Russian defense minister is in Beijing talking with his Chinese counterpart. Doing what exactly, you think? What do you think they're talking about? And then we have a little information coming from the Russians telling us that no, Putin is open with dialogue with Germany's Schulz. He's okay with that. Just call me. That's what it is. Just call me. And they say no. And then it's against the lie of Annalena Baerbock, the foreign minister of Germany, a baboon, infantile at best, who says, no, Russia doesn't want to talk. Well, you can believe Annalena, or you can believe, someone else. Or the facts. The fact is what? Get your information from as many angles and many sources you can. And you're going to find out the Russians never said, oh, we're not going to talk to anybody. We're not going to talk to you. Well, and then we find out that Lavrov is visited by the Pope's emissary. Why? And then we find out that Zelensky visited the Pope. I think it's the third or fourth meeting. Third time. Why is the Pope talking to these guys? Because he loves people. Talks with a Greek Orthodox or the Russian Orthodox and talks with a Jew. And the Pope says Catholic. Now, if you were born yesterday and you don't know anything about history, you're going to find out the Catholic Church, and I'm not here to bash Catholic Church because I think the belief, the Christian belief, was hijacked by these guys that have organizations. They created organizations to be in charge in the name of something very noble, very noble. But I think they hijacked. So if you look at not only in the Middle East, Middle Ages, what the Catholic Church tried to do, and they did to the Orthodox Church, you're going to be so, oh my God, these guys want to exterminate those guys? No. Just kidding. All right, let's go. But I know people who never heard about this because they did not read about these things. They don't understand what happened with the Crusades. The Crusades were meant to do what exactly? And they passed over whose territory? And they killed whom? And they conquered what? They attacked Constantinople, Byzantium. Remember? Brothers of the same faith. And why? Because I do like this and you do like that, and I believe like this and you believe like that, and because I believe in 1,000 years and you believe in thousands of years. Oh my God, it's so important. And I have paintings and you have statues, and I have crosses and you have just this. I mean, it's so baboonish, but that's why it's just an organization. You should how should I put it, conduct your beliefs directly without fucking intermediaries. Anyway, let's start with the beginning. Sputnik. Russian forces liberate Levadnoye in Zaporozhye region. Where is Levadnoye? I'm going to show you right here. This is the map of Ukraine. This is Zaporozhye region, and Levadnoye is right at the border with Donetsk. Here. So the Russians are, look at them. They are, and this is from today. Good job. They updated this shit. They have a lot of, pinching moves here. This is Pokrovsk here. They have a lot of pinching operations. You see how they can surround, encircle things? The same here. How they come. It's just, look. How you can defend like that. But anyway, so this little town of Bethlehem, as I said, is, if this garbage wants to cooperate, and if not, I'm going to smack it. All right, well, fuck off. Let's go to the next article. It's the same thing, right? 1 dead, 8 injured as Russian missile strikes Odessa port facilities. And this is from Ukrinform. 1 person was killed and 8 more wounded in Odessa as a result of a Russian ballistic missile attack. Russian terrorists attacked Odessa with a ballistic missile. 1 person was killed. And they attacked what? They're going to tell us. In the port, working in the port area. The strike damaged 2 civilian ships. The NS Moon flying the Belize flag, because Belize, it has a fleet. Jesus Christ. And the Palau flagged cargo. Palau votes with the United States of America every time they are voting a resolution on UN resolution on Israel. So Palau, fuck off. Cargo vessel Optima. All right, so this is it. Optima had already been hit during an attack just a week ago. This guy say anything? Russian forces Vostok were eliminated after they say that they liberate the settlement of this. But that's basically what I said with that little settlement. And they attacked Odessa, which I'm going to show you where that thing is. Right there is Odessa on the bottom here. And the liberated town, as I said, is right here, Levadnoye. So here is Odessa, where the attacks on the port, on the Black Sea port, and the other one is right here between Donetsk and Zaporozhye. Here. All right, let's move on. Sputnik. Now you please try to make sense of this statement. Iran says will not respond to limited Israeli attack on certain targets. So does it mean that if Israel will respond and will attack certain targets, Iran will consider that we're even? Is that what it is? So if you rape just a few and certain ones, we're not going to come and do the same thing to you? Is that how it is? Is that how it is? What is this? What is this? I'm not trying to promote any goddamn war over there, but I don't think that's how you fight for your values. Well, you just conducted this operation, you invaded this, or you did this, you just raped, 50 people. What do you mean, just? Well, you didn't do it with 1,000, so that's a limited. This is the guy's logic. One rape is wrong, not... Maybe talk about... Unbelievable. So let's see. Iran has conveyed a message to the United States through an intermediary that it will not retaliate in the event of a limited Israeli attack on the specific targets planned in response to Tehran's recent ballistic missile strike. Israel state broadcaster Khan reported on Monday, citing an unnamed source. Oh, I love unnamed source. Tehran will consider the current round 3, closed if Israel's response is limited to specific targets. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? My God, what's going on here? What's going on here? How about Iran sends a list to the Americans, and the Americans give it to the Israelis. Israeli, we're going to look over and say, okay, we're going to hit only these guys, okay, all these targets. Thank you, Tehran, thank you. The round, we consider it closed. You hit me back, I deserve that smack. Okay, that's it. But if you smack me 2 times, we have a problem right there. All right, let's see how the Russians smacked NATO. Sputnik. No Ramstein summit of Ukraine's arms donors set for near future. So they postpone it until people will forget that they were supposed to make a decision on long-range missile strikes deep inside Russia. The Ukraine Defense Contact Group is not expected to reconvene in Germany in the near future, despite US President Joe Biden's planned visit to Berlin in the coming week, German media have reported. No, they try to forget about it. But what will happen? I think the order was given. I think they don't come out and say, yeah, we allow them. They told these guys, we're going to do it. When that's going to happen and the Russians will figure it out and the Russians will retaliate, the Americans will say, no, we didn't agree with that. There was not an American missile. It was just a Ukrainian domestically made missile. Remember, Zelensky came and said that they have it, so it was not us. So you're lying. And the baboons will be, yeah, man, they're lying. And they'll get back to what they do best, which is eating each other's fleas. And the Russians will say, no, it was this and that and that. Who are you going to believe? It doesn't really matter at that point if the Russians use a nuclear weapon, or 2 or 3 or 4. Does it? What are you going to do? Let's fight the Russians? Are you going to go? I don't think so. All right, the video game did not stop yet. Did not end. Der Spiegel magazine reported Sunday that Biden would travel to Berlin and meet with the top German officials Friday, more than a week after postponing a planned visit to the country to monitor the arrival of Hurricane Papa. That's garbage. With him in the country or outside of a country, the departments will operate the same. He's out of the loop anyway. However, no Ramstein format meeting will be held in the near future, the ZDF broadcaster reported. Instead, the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz announced a new standalone military aid package for Ukraine, which he initially planned to reveal at the Ramstein summit while hosting Vladimir Zelensky for talks last week. This is a last tranche of what a promise. So here, Biden was originally due to come to US Air Force Base Ramstein on October 12th. Yeah, because the US have military bases in other countries, but other countries don't have theirs. Who's in charge? Al Capone. For a meeting of Ukraine's donors for the Ukraine from the United Kingdom, Germany, and France, but the summit was cancelled after Biden scrapped the visit. All right, here it is. So this is what it is, my friends. I think they got chicken out, and that's good. But I don't think that the order was not given. It's just not announced. I think they will hit deep inside Russia. The Russians will say, you did it, we're going to hit you back. Or maybe they're just going to do it, because if you remember, it was Medvedev who said, Lavrov was the foreign minister of the Russian Federation. He said, if that decision will be made, we will learn about it. We'll learn about it. And then we're going to immediately activate, will be active. That means if you hear that you guys spoke about the decision and has been made somewhere, then we will already activate our reaction. So you don't have to send your missiles for us to say, let's do it, like the Iranians do with Israelis. Oh, you did it. Okay, we're going to hit you back next Friday at 4 p.m. but limited because we don't want, the round is over. Okay, bomb, touch gloves, right? What the hell is that? I'm surprised that when the Iranians launched their missiles towards Israel, Israel did not launch their missiles towards Iran. That was my first reaction to, whoa. So you just wait until the guy punches, and then I need about 5 minutes to recover, and I'm going to punch you back later. Clump. Limited punch? Not a knockout punch? What is that? What the hell is that? Oh, they don't want to escalate. I have to remind you or let you know, inform you that thousands of people are dying. Thousands of people are refugees. Thousands of buildings are destroyed. And these guys are just touch glove for the next round. All right, let's move to the next article. Oh, Russia Today, BBC losing propaganda battle to RT. It's interesting because that implies that Russia Today is also involved in propaganda because it loses it to Russia Today. So Russia is first place in propaganda and BBC is second place. Okay. British state media, see how these guys are calling it out, can no longer reach audiences in the global south. Tim Dewey has said. Funding cuts to the BBC World Service have allowed Russian and Chinese media outlets to spread unchallenged propaganda across the global south. The Director General of the British state media giant has complained, you see, because these guys called the Russian media state media, these guys called the British Broadcasters Company the same way, corporation. The BBC World Service broadcasts in around 40 languages to an audience of 320 million people per week. 2 years ago, the network cut more than 380 jobs and stopped radio broadcasts in the 10 languages, including Arabic and Persian. I don't think so. I don't think it's about the money. I don't think so. But I'm going to explain what I think about why these guys are incapable of doing it. I think they know they lost. I know they say, well, these guys are lost for us, so let's do it some differently. In a speech in London on Monday afternoon, Davy is expected to argue that when the World Service retreats, state-funded media operators move in to take advantage, according to remarks shared with British media outlets in advance. Russia and China are expanding their global media activities, investing hard to grow their audiences in key markets in Africa, Middle East, and Latin America, he said, and claiming that across Africa in particular, Russian media is incredibly active in promoting its narratives, with social media influencers amplifying propaganda, social media influencers, and so-called activists live streaming pro-Russia rallies. So whatever it is, these guys are crying now because some people have more power to tell their story. But when they told the story, it was okay. You know why? Because of their self-identification as being the free media, independent media, the free world media, which it was a lie. So now they have competition, and now they don't like it. And they cast the competition as being, state-owned. Yeah, there's some state-owned media. But here in the United States of America, I don't think Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, and other garbages are state-owned. And still, they are fucking lying and lying by omission over and over. Give you whatever interpretation they want. And they say, oh, this information on, social media. These guys are operatives, my friends. So now they don't like when they lose. Why? I don't know exactly what's going on. I think that having more options to get your information from, obviously you'll be more knowledgeable. You will make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Sometimes we can't verify if the piece of information we got is a lie, is misinformation, is disinformation, whatever it is. But it at least raises the questions regarding some statements, reports made by the free media, by the operatives. So you at least can look around. These guys want to prevent you from looking around. That's wrong. So now they have competition. Why? Because the other guys have money. You don't. Why? That tells me you're bankrupt. And we are getting there. So let's see what this Netanyahu does. I'm just going to report this one because it's very dangerous to really say exactly how it is. Now, Netanyahu mulls plan to empty northern Gaza of civilians and cut off aid to those left inside. This is according to Associated Press. So it's not with me or with Russia Today. This is Associated Press. What does that sound like? Pushing the civilians out, obviously they will not come back. I have 99% certainty that those guys that left Gaza or Lebanon, northern Lebanon, whatever, southern Lebanon, wherever they're going to go, these guys will not be coming back. They will be forever there, and these guys want to build their little communities with money coming from you. So if this would have been done, let's say by, imagine that Putin would say that. Let's say Putin would say, we'll have a plan to empty all these territories in Ukraine, and we're not going to allow any aid to come inside. You would call that genocide? Ethnic cleansing? I think that's what it is, isn't it? I'm not talking about Netanyahu. No. And we find another one. They're upset with people that don't do their job. Israel reinforces ban on United Nations chief. He's the Secretary General, entering country over Iran attack comments. This is 1 day ago per Reuters. Here you have Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz reinforced on Sunday his decision to declare United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres persona non grata over what he described as a failure to condemn Iran's missile attack and anti-Semitic and anti-Israel But can he condemn the strikes in Syria, Israel strikes in Syria? Can he condemn Israel strikes in Iran? These are independent countries, sovereign countries. Can he, condemn strikes in Lebanon, invasion with tanks? Can he condemn, I covered it yesterday, Israeli tanks entering United Nations base, peacekeeping base in Lebanon? Can he condemn that? I mean, can he condemn the closing of Gaza at the beginning? Can he condemn the statements of, remember that, human animals coming from the defense minister of Israel? Ben Gvir, or whatever his name. No, that's not it. That's not it. My bad. Ben Gvir is, whatever is another one. Or maybe I make a combination between the two. So, that is the defense minister, the ones who made the statement. I mean, what? Anyway, I know, this is anti-this and anti-that. Let's move to this dangerous situation that will get us soon, unfortunately, sooner than later. Fox News, an unknown drone fleet breaches U.S. military base, airspace in Virginia for 17 straight days. So this fleet came over 17 days, and these guys did not do squat. A mysterious fleet of drones entered restricted airspace and swarmed a U.S. military base along the Virginia coast for 17 days late last year, stumping the Pentagon, according to the news. So you see how many things we don't know? That's last year, and they didn't tell us. But I said many times before that arming Ukraine is going to give on the black market a lot of weapons. That happens every time. So it's going to go somewhere there. That's why I don't think Patriot systems, I don't think the F-16s, I don't think the HIMARS and many others, the Abrams tanks, the Challenger 2 tanks, the whatever the other one is, Leopard 2 tanks, are not operated by the Ukrainians, because the Ukrainians can take that into Russia. And these guys are going to dismantle it right there if they still need to. That's why these are not operated. They are not trained operators. No, they are NATO, I think, military operating that. The same here. These guys sell these weapons. These weapons will end up to bad actors, or maybe even, and then they will be shipped in different areas, open borders somewhere, and they will enter certain countries, and then they will fix things for their own advantage and create bad stuff for all of us. And that is just a military base. Tomorrow it could be Washington D.C. Tomorrow could be a mall. Tomorrow could be whatever these guys want. And what are you going to do about it? The smalls of this is how big those small. This is how big the small are. the drones are. This is with that. I want to show you pictures with the Ukrainians holding them and all that going. And that's just one. Remember, these guys have javelins. Javelins can hit targets many hundreds of feet away. All right, and it can go like this and like that. So if they do that, imagine that, and many more other things that we're not even told about. Let's see what they hosted in that military base. The drones would start to arrive about 45 minutes to an hour after sunset each night, one official reportedly told U.S. Air Force General Papapap, who joined officers responsible for the country's most advanced jet fighters, including F-22 Raptors, on a squadron rooftop. Kelly described the first drone he saw as roughly 20 feet long, 20 feet long, and flying at more than 100 miles an hour at an altitude of roughly 3,000 to 4,000 feet. That's 1,000 meters, let's put it. 1 kilometer. As many as a dozen or more drones followed, flying across Chesapeake Bay and then traveling towards Norfolk, Virginia, and those space. So these were big drones, but I'm talking about the little ones. So if the big drones can fly like that, imagine the little ones. Lower altitude, you will never intercept them if they come just above the treetops. So if they're gonna fly over the treetops like that, how are you gonna, with your radar? Or if there's not, just low altitude over a field. You don't know what if that's a bird. It's coming, I think. All right, let's see how these guys are trying to baboon us. Ukrainska Pravda. German intelligence chief warns that Russia may attack NATO by 2030. No, this is about scaring people in allowing to have the weapons manufacturing companies having a kill and the banks again. That's not right because, according to these guys from Ukrainska Pravda, Russian fleet can no longer influence combat operations in Ukraine. That means it was destroyed. The Russian fleet has lost its ability to influence the course of the hostilities. That means it was diminished, decreased. Oh, you bought a toy now? Meow, meow, you want to play? Just a little bit. The cat is here. All right, and here we have Russian defense minister arrives in Beijing for high-level talks with Chinese leaders. So you tell me, where are you? You're going to show up? You tell me that these guys are losing in Ukraine against Ukraine all the time. Here it is. Come over. What do you want? You want to play? We're going to play later, okay? He wants to go outside. He's like a dog. I go outside every day at least 2 times. Don't hit this. No. All right. I'll go with him outside. We had a long leash, because I leave him without a leash. He's going to go and I have to go and beg for him to return. Anyway, so these guys tell us that the Russians are losing, but somehow they're going to be able to attack by 2030. These guys tell us that the Russians don't have missiles, don't have this, don't have that, but somehow they will attack. And they beg the North Koreans, they beg the Iranians, they beg now the Chinese, but somehow Russia will be able to do it. How in the hell? I mean, come on, let's don't play, how do you call it, full retard here. And in the meantime, these guys are doing what they do best. They're gonna enhance their cooperation. And this is the defense minister. They're talking about weapons. During the visit, the Russian defense minister will hold a series of talks with the country's military and military political leadership. What do you think that is? Huh? What do you think? So this is another one, and we find out that Putin is open to dialogue with Germany's Schulz, Kremlin says. It doesn't mean that's necessarily true. But it was an article about a week ago when they said that Schulz would like to call Putin. The Russians said we didn't receive any request for a phone conversation, and Putin is available if Schulz wants to talk. He's open for this. Then we got the infantile Annalena Baerbock, the foreign minister of Germany, who says, no, Russians don't want to talk. Remember when they say, the Russians don't want to talk, the Russians don't want to talk. They want to talk, but the problem is, you want to talk? We wanted to talk to you in 2021, you didn't, remember? And then, unprovoked, we just invaded Ukraine. That's how the story goes. All right, so let's go and see what's going on here. Russian President Vladimir Putin is open to a dialogue with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, the Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told the Russian news agency Interfax on Sunday, and I'm quoting, "We have repeatedly stated that we remain open to contact," end quote. Peskov said, but noted that there had so far been no proposal from the German side for a telephone conversation. Peskov was responding to a statement by the baboon German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock, who said on Friday that Putin was no longer even willing to talk to the Chancellor on the phone. Schulz recently emphasized that possibilities for peace must be explored, and there were reports of planned phone call between the Chancellor and Putin. I think they should talk, but the problem is Germany has no independent foreign policy, is under occupation. You have foreign troops on your territory, you are under occupation. As long as you have troops on the other country's territory and you don't. So, all right, unidirectional friendship, thank you very much. All right, so I think they could, it's just they try to tap Putin. Hey, are you done yet? And Putin, for what? You know why we are over there. If you continue to be baboon, then... All right, so let's go to the last two topics, which actually is only one. Sputnik, Lavrov, Pope's peace envoy on Ukraine hold meeting in Moscow. So the Pope peace envoy comes and speaks. So the Catholic comes to talk with the Orthodox. And we find out that Vatican news, Pope welcomes Ukrainian President Zelensky to Vatican for a third time. Well, I don't think the Vatican, I don't think the Pope wants what is good for Russia or for any Orthodox church. That's my assessment based on what I know through my readings, my historical research. All right, I don't think they want that. If they could, they should have all the Orthodox becoming Catholics, and probably vice versa. Why? Because these organizations, the more you have, the more power you have. So it's about that. Again, I have nothing to do with people believing in stuff. I don't want those guys to impose those stuff on me, okay, those kind of things, or discriminate against me in public employment or buying stuff and so on. That is something private. You do it, it's fine. You want to go as a community, that's fine. Remember, that community has a hierarchy. An organization is like a club. And the club, I think, doesn't work the way it was supposed to. Just read the Old Testament and tell me all these make-believe things that they invented, you know, by the writings and by the thoughts of those. There are some over there. I think if Jesus Christ were to show up again here, right, I think he would not look fondly on the Pope. But that's my assessment. I might be wrong, but I think I'm very much right. And not only the Catholics, the other guys who say that they're being inclusive and all that. Anyway, my friends, the Pope is working with a Jewish president of Ukraine. Then you have those guys going to Lavrov, the Orthodox. You think that what the war that was between these religions in the past is just buried and they're friends? No, they just wait for the other one to have a little situation, and then they're gonna them up. You don't believe that? That's fine. You're entitled to your assessment, to your opinion. So am I. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.